bylaws. We're going to begin with a reading that the prophet has instructed us to read in every meeting, and that is going to be read by the sister.
Prophet warns all Muslims to be read at every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who holds malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If you lose confidence in your prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Jurali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace, Noble Jurali.
Islam. Okay. We want to thank everybody for coming out again to see us, and we're glad to see y'all. I'm hoping you're glad to see us. So
I like you.
That's good enough. Man. I got a lot of love just right there on the phone. So we're gonna be reading over excerpt out of the Moorish literature. The topic of it is the page here. Historical. It's the Moorish leaders' historical message to America. We're going to be reading out of that. It's a nice little reading. And we're going to be reading, we're going to discuss some things. And like I said, this is not a lecture, so, you're encouraged to ask questions and talk, as that's how you do claim information for your own self, is to actually question things and speak about them. So as we're going along, if you're not asking, I may have to ask you a question to see if you're still with us or not, So, Islam?
Islam.
So we'll start. The sister start reading. That's the Moorish leaders' historical message to America.
On page 26. In connection with the aims, objects, rules, and regulations of the Moorish Science Temple of America, I deem it proper to submit to you a brief statement of our organization covering its inception, rise, and progress, and of the Mohammedan religion, which I hope will be satisfactory to you and be the means of causing you at all times to adhere to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice in your relations with mankind in general. I further most anxiously hope this brief statement will help you to more clearly see the duty and wisdom of, at all times, upholding those fundamental principles which are desired for our civilization of our posterity, such as obedience to law, respect and loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity.
Okay, we have here a duty. He speaks of a duty in this right off the rip. As soon as you come out of the gate, he said that he hopes that you be satisfied for you to be the means of causing you all at times to adhere to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice in your relationship with mankind in general. So this is not just something that we do. This is a duty that we have. This is a duty that we have to provide. You know what I'm saying? We have to provide this love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's up to us. It's not something that we just learn it and then we go about it, adhering to it only to our own self. But we have a duty to man and to mankind to express love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Islam? Yeah. It's saying that.
Islam, I have a question. So express. We think about what do you think, or what do you surmise that it means to express it? Are we just saying it to people?
Our actions and duty. That's why it's a duty. You're gonna have actions that represent these things. This love, truth, peace, the freedom, all of those things you're gonna represent in your actions. And as you represent them things, then you're living up to the principles, our 5 principles. And if you just, hey, I'm going to read this stuff and I'm going to go home and then I'm done. I did my part. No, your part don't begin until you affect someone else. So while you out in society, even if you're not talking to anybody, if you're at work, you can start implementing these principles in your life, and people will start coming up and start talking to you. I gave an example a few weeks ago where I said, just when you see somebody, say something nice. Do it 3 times a week and see what happens. And everybody, when they came back, they started saying, hey, yeah, I noticed. People started talking to me. Even the people that didn't respond to you saying something nice to them, eventually they're going to say something to you, or they're going to see you in a different light. Because that's why you're practicing these things to change people. Those things are what change people. The love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice is what change them. If we try to change somebody's mind or what they think or what they believe, we won't get anywhere. But if we just treat them a certain way, then a lot of people respond to nice treatment by treating you nicely, or treating the next person nicely, or going about their life in a different manner. But if you try to tell them what to do, they're not going to respond. A lot of people won't respond to that, you know?
They need to see it.
Right. When they see it in action, then they respond to it. And you'll be amazed if you just start off with something as simple as telling a person, I think it was 3 times a day, that every day you tell somebody something nice, 3 times a day. That's all you got to do. You see somebody randomly, just say something nice to them and keep it moving. And you'll see then how it will affect the people, which in turn will affect you. Because after people start coming to you saying something nice, well, she's always saying something nice, or he's always saying something nice to people. So how are you doing today? And they waiting for your answer, as opposed to people go, hey, how's it going? They gone. They don't want to know. They just go speak and keep moving. But they'll wait for your response because they're interested in you, you know.
And the more we practice it, the more we feel the change inside of us. So the happier we practice being, the happier we actually are. We organized as the Moorish Science Temple of America in the year 1925 and were legally incorporated as a civic organization under the laws of the state of Illinois, November 29, 1926. The name Moorish Temple of Science changed to Moorish Science Temple of America, May 1928, in accordance with the legal requirements of the Secretary of the State of Illinois. The object of our organization is to help in the great program of uplifting fallen humanity and teach those things necessary to make our members better citizens. A national organization with a Rotarian complexion as it relates to branch temples became obvious with the increasing number of inquiries from men and women in different sections of the country concerning the purpose of the organization. There are branch temples in 15 different states at this time. Since the work of the Moorish Science Temple of America was largely religious, the organization has been legally changed to a religious corporation, and an affidavit to this effect has been properly filed in the Cook County Recorder's Office in Illinois.
Islam. Do you know that filing is on the back of our 101s? Islam.
When was the year that we changed from a civic organization to a religious organization?
It says 1926.
Okay.
Legally incorporated as a civic organization in 1926.
Right.
Islam, go ahead.
They had a meeting in 1925 and had it placed as a civic organization in 1926. But when they changed it from a civic to a religious organization, that was
Okay.
other name from more simple science and more science.
Right. Okay, so any other questions? No?
Okay. Inspired by the lofty teachings of the Quran, we have it as the revealed word of God Allah. We shall foster the principles of its teachings among our members. This is our religious privilege as American citizens under the laws of one of the greatest documents of all time, the American Constitution.
Okay, we're saying that here it says, inspired by the lofty teachings of the Quran, we have it as the revealed word of God. So when we speaking about the Quran, when we say that, you notice that people say that they make a distinction between the Quran of Mecca or the Quran of, because there's different Qurans. And this is our Quran, the Holy Quran, Moorish Science of America. But when we're speaking of where our power and authority is derived, we're speaking about the Quran of Mecca. That's the Quran that we're speaking about. And it says it on the back of our 101s, the following of that document on the back of our 101s, that tells us that the power is derived from, the authority is derived from what? The Quran of Mecca. So that's the Quran that we derive our authority from. So when we're talking to people, we have to be cognizant of the fact that we're reading the same book that they're reading. Now, the prophet came to us doing what? Speaking English. Why? Because we speak English. So when we're looking in the Quran, at some point we have some misunderstandings in the Quran. Not in the Quran itself, but in our ability to be able to comprehend Arabic. So someone else may reinterpret it so that we can comprehend it. And they do the best that they can do when they interpreted it to us in English from their limited perspective. But that's why every nation receives a prophet that comes to them from among them, speaking the language from which they come. So every nation will receive a prophet that will be speaking the language that they speak in order for them to have full comprehension. So that's in our Quran, that's in the Bible, that's in the holy books that we look at. That it tells us that when we're reading the Bible, that the people will be sent a prophet from among them, speaking their language. And why would he need to come from among them? Islam.
So that way the message can't be diluted or changed. It's like translation from Arabic to English, relying on somebody else's translation, and their translation be incorrect. And that message.
Islam. Anybody else? Yeah. That's definitely strong. Anybody else? Why do they need to have a prophet from among them?
So the prophet can talk with them and not at them.
Islam. That's definitely good. Go ahead, break that down.
Also, we can relate to the people. You know, you got to be able to relate to the people in order to lead the people. Islam.
Now, all those answers are correct, but that is the most correct because the prophet has to come from where the people are from. Because then the people looking and saying, I know he knows what I know because he lived through what I'm living through. He's dealing with what I'm dealing with right here. When you tell me that you came from over here and you did this and you came, I can hear you. And I can understand what you're saying to me, but it's hard to truly empathize. You know what I mean? Right. I can't truly say that I know that you know. I know you know what you're talking about, but I can't say you know you know. So that's how come we have a prophet coming from among the people, and it's easier for the people to accept it when they hear that. Yeah. Well, yeah, they're gonna rebut it.
At first.
First they all did. So that's why we want to have a prophet from among us speaking our language. So when we're speaking about the Quran of Mecca, we're speaking that our authority is derived from that Quran and that our information is derived from that Quran. However, we are still only able to read and completely understand in English. So this is why our prophet came to bring us this Quran, so that we can be clear on what's going on. Some of the stuff is not quite clear to me in Arabic. Did that make something wrong with me? No, I just speak English. So as long as I'm here, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? As long as I realize where it comes from, I'm good. Islam?
You do pretty good.
Islam. I'm saying in general, we don't have to speak Arabic. We speak a little bit of Arabic, great. We speak a lot of Arabic, even better. We speak a lot of Chinese, better. Speak a lot of German, better. The more language you speak, the better it's gonna be. You know, however, we're not blessed with that. At least I'm not blessed with that type of fluency in different languages. So you want to go ahead?
Sure. The Mohammedan religion is the least appreciated and probably the most misunderstood of the world's great religions. This is especially true in our Western world. Try to understand that Mohammedanism stands for and some of the things it has contributed to the world.
Islam. So can we give out a couple of examples of how Mohammedan, do we know what we mean when we say Mohammedan religion? Everybody? Not really? But we speaking from the point of Islam, speaking from the point of Islam and the doctrines that's put in place when we decide to become Muslim. When we say, hey, you know, I'm gonna turn my life over to Allah and I'm gonna follow the prophets that came. I'm gonna follow all of the divine prophets. That's how we do this. We follow all the divine prophets, whether it's Buddha, Confucius, Jesus, Muhammad. So the Muhammadan religion includes all of that. All of those are people that came through the same thing. He's following right after them, and they following right after him. So we won't have anything outside of that belief. Do we get it?
That's the biggest misconception.
What?
That what you just said is the biggest misconception that people have, because for a lot of people, when we say what we live, they're like, oh, well, you don't believe in Jesus, or oh, you don't, and that's the biggest misconception about the religion itself.
There's a whole chapter in the Quran of Mecca about Jesus specifically, and all through it, he's riddled all through it particularly. So there's chapters about Mary. There's everyone that's in the Quran, in the Bible. There's no missing people. That's what I'm saying.
So when you say, so like Jesus and Allah is not the same, like one and the same, like they say each religion has someone but of a higher power, but it's the same person. Is it the same person or no? It's
like
not
Jesus was going up on the mountain to talk, remember?
Yeah.
Okay. He was talking to God.
Right.
Who is Allah?
Who is Allah.
Okay.
So that would be Muhammad talking to Allah. That would be Muhammad talking to God.
Okay.
Buddha talking to God. You know, so that's what Jesus is. Jesus was a prophet that was talking to God.
Okay.
And he received the revelation from God. So what he said has to be true. You see what I'm saying? So when our prophet comes to us and he tell us something, that's how we know it's true. It came from God. So if it didn't come from God, we really wouldn't know if it was true or not. It may change in 50 years. We found out we've been tricked or had. Run them up, con. You know what I'm saying? But because it comes from God, then it will not change. And we know that it's the truth. Unless God say, hey, this is going to do this at this time, it's going to be the truth. So when the prophets come, they bring us the truth. So it doesn't matter who the prophet is, if you believe in that prophet. Because every one of those prophets said it's one God. This is one set.
Right.
So if you believe in that prophet, then you would have to believe in Muhammad and Jesus and Buddha and Confucius. Because if you didn't, there would be a contradiction in your own mind. Because it's only one God. So no matter how you see God, it's still going to be God. You're not going to be able to change it because you've got different skin color. You're not going to be able to change God because you live on the other side of the mountain. You know, and Islam. Anything on it?
I want to ask something, Jack. Like, Christianity, they have an issue with equating Jesus and God, and that's where I think a lot of the confusion comes into play too. When you get someone saying they're Muslim or Muslim, people think you got a whole different God. Like, no, it's only one God. We call him Allah. We don't say God, because God can be manipulated, and changed up, and switched up. I think that's where the confusion comes into play. They have a tendency to equate Jesus and God, making the same entity. And even when you deal with people who say, "Oh no, we don't. I know God is the Father and Jesus the Son," but when you start asking certain questions, the answers they give you are in line with that.
Right.
So.
Well, that's why we're here to kind of straighten that out. It's not that we need to straighten out Christianity, because that's far from us to be. Our job is just our duty is to provide love, truth, peace, freedom, and understanding, and justice to people. We want you to understand these things. If you don't have all the pieces in place, it's very difficult to get a comprehension of something. Like when people go, well, hey, you got a body, yeah, I got a body. You got a soul, yeah, I got a soul. You got a spirit, okay. How do they work together? I don't know. Nobody ever told me. Well, how are you going to figure this out? You know what I mean? It seems like that's a necessary thing. It's like you said, hey, I got a mother and a father. And I got a child. How does that unit work together? Well, I don't know. Well, it's instant failure. If you don't know how the family's supposed to work, then this family is going to fail. If you don't know how your body's supposed to work, and your spirit and your soul is supposed to work, then you're going to fail. You're going to be lost. But once you get the information, it's very easy for you to decide what's going on and what ain't going on. It's quick. We don't even have to express too much. Now we start listening to you, because you got the information. So once you get the correct information, it's really easy to discern where you're getting bad information at. Because a lot of people will tell you that, hey, some people will tell you, well, there ain't no God. Some people will say, well, that, like you say, Jesus is God, or this person is God, or that person was God. You have some people that said, like, I talked to some people when I was studying in the Nation of Islam, and he was saying that a man came over and taught Elijah Muhammad, and the man's name was Farad Muhammad, and then that was God. You know what I mean? So you have all these different renditions of people telling you things, but lately you've noticed that a lot of those things are correct, and people are not able to get away with it, particularly with the onset of the internet. People can bring you up to the carpet real fast on the internet, and you have to come clean. So we know these things now as we start getting older, and start getting wiser.
Muhammad was the founder of the Mohammedan religion. It originated 13 centuries ago on the Arabian Peninsula, where the streams of commerce and culture met and mingled in the Middle Ages, where the markets of exchange were stationed for treasures of India and the products of the Mediterranean coast. There, this religion was established in the unprecedented short period of 20 years, and unlike many other religions, without the aid of any royal patronage and support. Buddhism had its Ashoka, Judaism its Joshua, Christianity its Constantine, but Mohammedanism had no person of royal rank and power to assist in its establishment and spread. Today, this religion is acknowledged by nearly 250 million souls and extends over an area equal to 1/3 of the globe.
Okay, hold on. Now, right there, he's saying that it's 250 million people that study Mohammedanism, of a form of that, of Islam. He's saying that it's 250 million. When was this written?
I was going to say, I want to
Right.
bring it up.
When we started this, right. This was written, we got 100 years ago. At this present time, it's between 1.5 billion and 2 billion. Right. That's a lot of people studying it. So there's a lot of people studying Islam, and accordingly, there's different variations of it. If I go to Islam, if I go to Turkey and I'm studying Islam in Turkey, they're gonna talk to me a little bit different about things, subtly different. But the basis of it still should stay the same, because cultural things are not subjected to Islam. Your culture don't have to be changed because somebody else's culture that taught you Islam is that. I got a brother that we was when I was learning Islam as a Sunni, and we were studying, and we went to go eat something, and they all came out and they had the tray of food there, and they get ready to eat, and they put their hands in the food to eat it. That's showing some love. That was too much love for me. You know what I'm saying? That's too much love for me. I need mine on my own plate. Do you know what I mean? So that was a cultural thing. You get what I'm saying? Culturally, that's what they did. So Islam.
According to certain traditions, right, they call that a symbol. Muhammad, so that's when I used to eat with his hand.
Alhamdulillah, that's fine that he did that. And it's fine that they did that. I'm saying, however, my prophet didn't eat like that. And I don't eat like that, even if he did eat like that. I don't want what's under your nails in my food. So I'm going to be getting my Islam.
How we know harm?
No.
I'll be facetious. How you know for certain that our prophet over Johnny never did this?
Well, if you want to eat like that, that's how I feel. It's fine. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a problem if you eat like that or don't eat like that. The point that I was making is that culturally, Islam did not come to change how you eat. It didn't come to change how you dress or how you talk. Islam didn't come to say, hey, you need to speak Arabic. It came to change your actions towards the rest of humanity. That's what it was bred to do. So we have to be cognizant of that. We have to be aware of the fact that we're not taking information on because somebody's culture is telling us to take it on. But we taking it on because it is what's needed in our own culture. You see, where we're going to be at. Islam? Anybody got? Go ahead, sister.
I don't have a question.
Go ahead. You got it.
I'm laughing at the kids. I'm sorry.
Okay. And
Kids,
go ahead.
I do have a question. Shit. Now, you know that we have an understanding what it says about our power and authority comes from the great command of Muhammad. And we know that it was written in Quranic Arabic. So is this every time? How can we get an understanding? If we don't know Arabic, right, in its context of what's really being, or what was said in the Quran of Muhammad, what can we use today?
Well, you have a lot, like I said, a lot of different 150, 1.5 billion to 2 billion people is studying this. So all those different people are studying the same book, the same writings, coming to the same conclusions. So we can study all of those people that's studying and come up with a conclusion. We can read our own Quran. It's in English. Islam. So if we read this, we're not gonna stray off Islam. So we got a lot of material, and believe it or not, many people, whether they Christian, whether they Arabs, read this book. They read this book a lot. This book has been printed a lot and reprinted. So you can get a long way with this, with just reading it. It's a small book, but it's amazing.
It's a powerful book.
It's amazing. You saw? So you want to go?
From Arabia, it spread eastward over Persia, Turkestan, Afghanistan, westward across Syria, Asia Minor, Turkey, southward to Africa, covering more than half of that continent. It found its way to India and beyond, to the islands of Sumatra, Java, and Borneo. To the early representatives of this faith, the world's debt is incalculably great. For it was they who transmitted the treasures of Greek literature from the Middle Ages to the Renaissance. They who originated the graceful forms of which the Taj Mahal and the Alhambra are most famous examples. It was they who contributed to the sciences of algebra and chemistry, astronomy, and medicine. They who dotted the Saracen Empire with universities and who built at Baghdad and Cairo the most renowned universities of the world. During those centuries of ecclesiastical despotism, when the Christian church suppressed all intellectual activities, save those that were theological, causing the talent that reproduces to supplant the genius that creates, Mohammedans did all in their power to encourage and stimulate research in every branch of human inquiry. Woo!
Right.
That's what I got for that.
Yes. Now that is a whole lot. And what he's saying in a very precise way is that Islam came to liberate. Whereas at the time it was liberating, Christianity was closing down. It was telling people that science was bad. It was telling people they can't do this, you can't do that. You know, it was fighting against Islam. So that was a constant fight back and forth for people to understand who they were, where they came from, and who their loyalty lied to. They told you have a loyalty to Allah, to God. And that wasn't the same when you was dealing with Christianity. So when they was liberating people all over the globe, they were fighting to have to do that. And all of the things when they say to you, the society, the humanity and society or civilization was created by us. That's what it means. It means that the civilized behavior that you work under with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice has always been there. And we've always acted upon it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until the onset of Christianity that you had a lot of principles that were definitely in opposition to those principles. Islam?
There's a book. It's a very, very old book. And part of the book has a discussion. The discussion, when I say old, it's 1886 or something like that. I think I shared some of the pictures from that book with you a while ago. And it talks about those things where, there was someone who came up against Islam because it was too collegial. It showed too much love. The separation between what people who consider themselves up here and people that they consider to be down here.
Right.
That was part of the purpose for separating people from Islam.
Mm-hmm. They wanted to keep the poor and the rich. So, and he's going to get into that a little bit here as we read on. Go ahead. Oh, well, I'm sorry, the brother had a question.
What's up, Muhammad?
Well, why don't you tell us that, brother? Because we had the question already. We wanted you had left out, but I wanted you to give an explanation of that. Yeah.
So I was asking, you know, if you don't mind, if you can enlighten us on your understanding of Muhammad. But I don't mind. I would
Yeah, go ahead. No.
simply follow the teachings of Prophet Muhammad.
Islam.
And within that, you have Islamic ideals or way of life. When we say Islamic, from my understanding, it's like a certain way of practicing Islam. So there's different ways of demonstrating Islam. But, you know, in the Holy Quran, remember, it talks about the life and works of Jesus amongst the Muslims in India. You know what I'm saying? So in that context, right, Muslims or Muslims always existed, and Islam always existed. But from my understanding, when we speak on Muhammad, we're speaking about a specific type of way of practicing this deen. So I want to ask you this, if you don't mind. And I ask a lot of Sheikhs this. This is for my own enlightenment as well. Would you consider yourself a Muhammadan?
I would consider myself a Drew Ali. I'm a follower of Drew Ali. You know, as far as me following the tenets of Muhammad, yes, I do follow those tenets because they are in line with what my prophet brung me. But my clarity comes from this, not the Quran of Mecca, because I don't get clarity as well. Now, when I first read, I had no more greater clarity than you can imagine. I was just blown away when I first read the Quran, and I read it for 20-some years and just stayed blown away. But when I got a hold of this, from being who I am and where I am, this made things that the nuances became quite clear to me. And things became, I was able to see things that I didn't see before, even though it was explaining it to me. So I would say that's what I would be. And normally, if somebody follow like Abrahamic religions, it'd be those people if that was at the time that he was talking to. Or you'll have people will say, what about Moses? You know what I'm saying? The people that follow Moses, and they would say that would be those people. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that them people still don't follow the same steps of requirements to be in Islam, requirements to study or to be under the fellowship of Allah. You know what I mean? So they all doing that. So no, I wouldn't be a Muhammadan in that sense, but I would be following his teachings without a doubt. Just as Jesus would have been following his teachings. Just as Abraham would have been following his teachings. You know what I'm saying? Muhammad's teachings is not different from Abraham's teachings. You know, the same requirements is there. You're not having a different script. Ain't like we got two different scripts. We only got one God. And you only see one line of information that goes from him to the prophets, to the holy books, well, to the angels, to the holy books, and it goes on down. So that's how we receive this information, and that process hasn't changed from the beginning. So we receive it all through our prophets the same way. Islam.
And I think that it depends on the way the person interprets what is being asked. Like this is a broad religion because it is the only one that encompasses, that upholds the teachings in the way that both of you are saying. So it's broad. Right. When part of what has happened with religions like Christianity is the desire, the change to make things so narrow that we weren't allowed to express our spirituality.
Right, definitely. So, Islam. Anybody with any questions or anything want to add to that? No?
The Moors or Mohammedans added to the beauty and grandeur of Spain. For centuries, art, science, literature, and chivalry flourished among them. While the rest of Europe still sunk in the gloom of the Dark Ages, the Moors were the most ingenious and industrious of subjects of Spain. Their expulsion from Spain in 1610 was one of the chief causes of decadence of the country, where both agriculture and industry fell into decay after their departure. Mohammedanism makes no distinction between high and low, rich and poor. It is like the sky, it has room for all.
Islam. So that's what she was talking about earlier, is that Islam has room for all. So it's no distinction between the rich and the poor. It's who practices that deen, who practices Islam best. If someone comes up and their actions and how they are is attributing to us love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, we accept them, regardless to what they saying, regardless to what they got. We know that their actions are what we're interested in. Islam. And so, and he's saying that at the time of Spain was doing well. So Spain politically got into a situation where they actually kicked all of the Moors out of Spain. And very shortly after, they dropped down. They dropped down and they was back just like the rest of Europe in the Dark Ages. They was fighting with each other and starving. You know what I'm saying? Because agriculture went to shop. So,
everything blossoms in love.
It does.
Everything blossoms in love. And when love was gone, they fell into the darkness. The Quran should be of interest to all readers. It is the Bible of the Mohammedans, ruling over the customs and actions of over 200 million of people. It is a work of importance, whether considered from a religious, philosophical, or literary viewpoint. In the promotion of plans for the betterment of mankind, there has ever been some kind of opposition. As strange as it may seem, such opposition has come from sources where there were no ideas or the lack of courage to force attention to ideas. Whether in church, state, or the social community, any attempt to do anything out of the usual way seldom fails to receive criticism. Not because the course cannot be pursued legally, or that it is unreasonable, but because it has been considered in terms as new. That's what I was getting ready to say too.
That
That's
is so 9 times out of 10, when you come with something new, people want to they want to say, okay, that can't be because it's different and it's new from something you're doing. Even when we got people that they start dressing differently, something wrong with them. You know what I mean? And that's always been a part of our culture. When people, so even to the extent that they make a certain set of people believe that because you look different, that you can't be accepted because you look different. So you had people running around that was dark skinned going around trying to put
bleaching their skin
on their skin to make their skin light, so they would feel like they was accepted.
And there are still people that places to do it. Yep.
Islam. So you still have that type of mentality, which is not Islam. That's not Islam. That's not going to work because Islam doesn't promote that. It has your actions at hand. When you look at the people that the Prophet Muhammad was dealing with, one of them was named Bilal ibn Rabah, very dark brother, you know, and he heard what the Prophet Muhammad was saying, and he was like, man, that's the truth. He couldn't believe, and he was a slave, and he believed it was the truth. So because he believed it so harshly, they try to suffer him to say that Muhammad was not a prophet, and they put a big rock on him and left him out in the desert. He still wouldn't. He just said that, no, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you that the prophet is the prophet. I can't not tell you that. So that's just a short version, but you can go and read it in Hadith about Bilal ibn Rabah, and it's a really good story to read. Actually, I made sure my kids read it, and you will find that a lot of people are more interested today in what you look like as opposed to what you're really saying. So the content gets lost, you know, in the container. So, and if you don't believe me, look how many times you have bought something and you say, man, that look like that's going to be good. And you look at the container because it looked like it's going to be good. And you get it and you think, oh, that's not good. You know what I'm saying? Because they know we look at things and they exploit the fact that we pleased by what we look at. Islam?
Yeah, that's the reason alcohol bottlers and stuff.
Yeah.
You paying the majority of the time for the different alcohol, the top shelf stuff for the fancy bottle. They got paint, artwork on them and stuff.
Right. Yeah,
So
they do.
Just get the eyes popping, make you spend the money.
There's a science. There's a science to it. There's a science to that, you know.
Right.
So you know. Now we got. Go ahead.
More Science Temple of America has received some opposition and criticism. In the main, the opposition has come from certain Christian ministers. They have expressed themselves as being opposed to our propagation of the Mohammedan religion, possibly because the promotion of the Mohammedan faith among our people in the United States is considered by them in terms of something new. Whatever the reasons may be for their opposition, the legal right to oppose citizens, individuals, or organizations alike for their religious belief does not exist in the United States. The door of religious freedom made by the American Constitution swings open to all, and people may enter through it and worship as they desire. Without religious freedom, no search for truth would be possible. Without religious freedom, no discovery of truth would be useful. Without religious freedom, religious progress would be checked, and we would no longer march forward toward the nobler life which the future holds for the races of men. Without religious freedom, there would be no inspiration to lift our heads and gaze with fearlessness into the vast beyond, seeking a hope eternal. It is a sad weakness in us, after all, to oppose our fellow men for their religious beliefs. If there are angels who record the sorrows of men as well as their sins, they certainly know how many and deep are the useless sorrows that spring forth from such opposition. Possibly love and time will cancel our ancient hatreds in this regard and prove that in mankind tolerance is better than unwarranted opposition.
Islam.
Islam.
So he's saying here that it's unwarranted opposition, just to the point because he decided, according to the Constitution, to practice Islam. You know, and there in our Constitution, there's a right for you to be able to practice Islam, and there's no test that anybody can give me to say that I need to be this or I need to be that. It's up to me to decide those things. So the unwarranted opposition comes as a result of people saying, "Is that new? Is that something different that you're doing? Why are you doing something different?"
Yeah.
See, that's unwarranted opposition. We don't have to make an explanation to somebody by what we believe. We just need to live love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and they will see it. Islam, they'll see it. Islam.
In connection with our religious aims and beliefs, we must promote economic security. The preaching of economic security among us is by no means as widespread and intensive as the circumstances demand. No other one thing is more needed among us at this time than greater economic power.
Hold on. Do everybody understand that?
Yep.
You said, hold on.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
There's no one thing more greater. This was 100 years ago that he said this, and they read this, and they mind states was your mind state, the circumstances your circumstances, but he's saying that there's no one thing more important than your economic stability. So when the prophet says to people, "Hey, look, you have to pay your dues," why is he saying pay your dues? Do anybody know why the prophet is saying pay your dues? Anybody? Well, we'll give a quick example. If it's 500 people in here, and each person paid $20 a month for their dues. Now,
How much money that is,
right.
what we could do with it.
now we can go out and attach that to something else. And as we get more members pay their dues, and we create more. So this is how you come to a point to gain power. Political by economics. There's no way to have a political system without basic economics. One of them is the same as the other. Every time you hear something about politics, it got something to do with money. It got something to do with the budget, right?
And large amounts of money.
Large amounts, you know what I'm saying? So we in a small situation. So unless we understand that it's necessary for us to give our money for our future, then we're never going to get anywhere. Which is the case of why we're where we at again now today. It's because you won't give your $20. You won't give your $20. You won't give your $20 because you think that it's only $20. It's not that much, but it's a lot when everybody put it in on time together, because that will make all of us stronger, because we can go out and we can do things. So that is the financing that the prophet is talking about. We can finance our own self if we just pay our dues. Islam.
And what can we finance? Better positions for our men and women, more business employment for our boys and girls, and bigger incomes will follow our economic security. We shall be secure in nothing until we have economic power. A beggar people cannot develop the highest in them, nor can they attain to a genuine enjoyment of the spiritualities of life. Our men, women, and children should be taught to believe in the capacity of our group to succeed in business, in spite of the trials and failures of some of them. Trials and failures in business are by no means confined to any particular group of people. Some business ventures of all people fail. We have many men and women among our people who are qualified both by training and experience, who are shining lights in the business world of all the people. It is a sad weakness in us as a people that we have withheld the very encouragement, support, and patronage that would have made some of our worthy business ventures a grand success. And worst of all, have joined in the condemnations of them when they fail. Except in case of actual dishonesty, discourtesy, lack of service, or actual unreliability, our business enterprises in every field of endeavor should have love of confidence, cooperation, and patronage whenever and wherever they can be given. Read carefully the doctrines of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It contains our hopes, aims, rules, and articles of religion. Every member should have a copy. In conclusion, I urge you to remember there is work enough for all to do in helping to build a better world. The problems of life are largely social and economic. In a profound sense, they are moral and spiritual. Have lofty conceptions of your duties to your country and fellow man in general, and especially those with whom you deal. This includes such honesty and righteousness as will cause you to put yourself in other fellows' place. Look for the best in others and give them the best that is in you. Have a deeper appreciation for womanhood. Brighten the hopes of our youth in order that their courage be increased to dare and do wondrous things. Adhere at all times to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I am your affectionate leader. I shall continue to labor day and night, both public and private, for your good, thereby contributing to the welfare of our country and its people as a whole. Noble Jurali. Islam.
So this was a part that I read that I thought was really concise. It did a really good job of bringing the whole thing together in a short period of time. So, and it covered a lot of issues.
Covered a lot
of issues, you know. So, do anybody have any questions about it? Go ahead.
What's on time?
What you mean? How do you do?
Very due.
Oh, our dues is due by the 8th every month. Our dues are due on the 8th.
You know, so I got 3-4 years. I was still didn't know what.
Right. We're supposed to have it done by the 8th every month.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have it done 8th.
And we
set
actually
up
have multiple ways.
Yeah, I need somebody. I'm kind of like technology retarded. I need to know how to navigate that WhatsApp so I can do it like.
Yeah, you can put it in the Cash App too.
Okay.
You got Cash App now, you can put it in there. We got the Cash App on there.
Yeah, that's
What is it?
$20.
Okay.
Literally.
I didn't know if that was like an example.
No, that was literally what, and that's the whole thing, because
But you got-
we eat $20.
We heard you had a whole lot of money, so yours is about 500. We got bad information. Stop it.
Bad information. I do want to say something at the very end of this. There was the prophet mentioned being grateful, and we are about to enter Ramadan.
It is time.
And it is time. One of the things that I'm going to put out there for everybody who is within ear reach, or if you read my lips, create your list of what you are grateful for. Put it in places where you can see it every day, because thinking about the things that you are grateful for and the things that you should be happy about and can be happy about can actually change the internal environment and make a much more peaceful person, a much more peaceful community, and a much more peaceful planet.
Islam. So Ramadan again is we right on the verge of it. So it's gonna start, I believe. Let the brother know. Was it the 14th, the night of the 14th? Islam. So Ramadan starts with according to the moon. So it would be starting that evening. And when you wake up in the morning, you will start your fast. You will wake up before, and I'm gonna text some stuff out. You'll wake up before the sun comes up, and you will eat before the sun come up. Then you will go through the rest of the day without eating or drinking anything. And then you will eat again when the sun goes down. So that's the time that you need to be concerned with. It's when the sun comes up and the sun goes down. So you're gonna eat before the end and you're gonna eat after the end. as you go through this, you're gonna find each week, things are gonna change for you dramatically. You're gonna start feeling a little bit different. And then by the time you get to the end of the second week, going into the third week, you're gonna realize that it's not that hard of a process, that your body don't shift it. And you can get this done. It's just staying focused is all you have to do. Go ahead, brother. It is at the end of the 30 days of fasting.
It's literally 30 calendar days. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Sometime it ends up with 31, but normally it won't. So the end it come at the end of that, and that's the celebration. That's the celebration month.
Ramadan is here.
Tomorrow evening.
Right, tomorrow.
And then so you'll wake up the following day. You'll wake up and you'll start your fast. We'll text this out to everybody to bring it to their attention. And right, you ready to go? Now they can break their fast with dates. We're gonna try to like I say, hit everybody up and let them know everything they need to know about the fast, the starting date, and we set up where you'll be a phone call chain. So
and anybody who's not getting the WhatsApp information, we can make sure to meet with me, have a conversation so we can get you all hooked up, squared away, because a lot of stuff happens in there.
Oh, yeah, I have to be squared away.
all right, so anybody got any questions about Ramadan? All right, then. With that, we'll call it a day. Hey, Chris.